Hello and welcome to the Lund University International Podcast. On the show, you'll hear from current students, alumni, researchers, professors, and many more special guests as we explore what it's really like to live, study, and work at Lund University in Sweden, a world top 100 university. My name is Tim Parker, and I am an International Communications Officer at External Relations. Welcome to a special two-part collaboration with the City of Lund. In this mini-series, we dive into how the City of Lund creates a setting which allows international students from Lund University to thrive in their studies, research, and future careers. From academic opportunities to everyday life, discover how Lund City and Lund University work together to support, inspire, and empower students from around the world. Each episode features 2 segments with conversations with both staff and students involved in the fantastic projects and initiatives which enrich the international student experience in Lund. In this episode, we first talk to the highly respected International Citizens Hub Lund, followed by a conversation with the team from Cross-Border Talent Bridge about how they are helping graduates to launch their careers in the greater Öresund region. Join us for the first segment of Part 1 as we dive into the International Citizens Hub Lund, a vital resource for internationals settling in southern Sweden. Whether you're planning your move or already here, the hub offers essential support, career guidance, and a welcoming community to help you navigate life in Lund. We'll explore how the hub connects internationals with opportunities, events, and networks. Plus, we'll hear first-hand experiences from those who have benefited from its services. Stay tuned as we uncover what makes Lund a great place to live, work, and grow. And with us today, we have 2 special guests. Welcome into the studio, Lisa and Megan. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Megan, you've been on the show a couple of times already, and you've hosted a few episodes. But for people who don't know you, please remind us where you're from and what you're studying.
Okay. I am from Seattle, Washington, USA, and I am in my final semester of my Master's in Applied Cultural Analysis.
Nice. Final semester already.
Yep. Write my thesis.
Time flies.
Time does fly.
Well, yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
And Lisa, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Also a West Coast American from California.
Okay.
Silicon Valley from the beginning.
Right.
Wasn't called Silicon Valley when I grew up there, though. But then, my education is way back then.
And you have a little bit better of a perspective of the International Citizens Hub, we could say.
Yeah, I do, actually. In 2015, I had the privilege of getting a job at the City of Lund to start International Citizen Hub. And as an international myself, also working with cultural training, also working with relocation background, these kind of factors put me close to the target group we were going to work with. So therefore, it was kind of a natural, I think, recruitment that, okay, the target group, the factors and the things they need help with. And you've also taken that journey, leaving your country, establish yourself in Sweden, a country that one would think is, well, coming from California to Sweden, weather-wise, it's not so attractive. But I've been here 30 plus years, so there's got to be something great about staying here, coming from California.
Great point.
Exactly.
So you're the perfect person to talk about International Citizen Hub. So what is it?
Oh, International Citizen Hub. Yeah, International Citizen Hub was designed to take care of spouses and partners, a settling in process. We're privileged to have the research facility ESS that is being built and will start up in 2027. And so what we're doing is when you're recruiting this kind of specialized competence, expertise, they come with family. And you have to think of the spouses and partners that follow. Well, they have left their home, they've left their jobs, their families, and now they're in a new country. And how is it going to work for them? Sweden is, first of all, you have a climate where it's cold, you're inside, you don't go out and meet people so easily in the beginning. So how do you establish yourself? So we knew that this is a factor in recruiting specialized talent to the facility, also to Max 4 and Lund University. We recruit a lot of professors here and postdocs to Lund University. So it's also important to see that they are established and they thrive here. So the idea was to create services, welcoming services, get to know what Sweden is like, and everything in English, even though people speak English here in Sweden. Still, you need to look at the international perspective. Swedes translate everything in English, but from a Swedish perspective, not an international perspective. So these are factors that we had to take into consideration when we started this. So at that time, we started with a drop-in service. It was on Thursdays, 3 hours. Now we've gone down to 2 hours, but 3 hours from 9 to 12. Every Thursday, the doors open. We're serving fantastic Swedish coffee, strong, good, and cookies, something sweet to go with that, because it's the fika culture. We want to start them off. There's a word, the first word you learn here when you move to Sweden. I'm sure you recognize that word.
It's fika.
Again. Exactly. The first word you learn. And when you come here, you want to get that cup of coffee, that cookie, and relax and enjoy life. And that's what we started with. And then we created events. We run over about 120 events per year. And those are informative events and some specialized.
120 events?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's including our job program. Yes. It is a rolling schedule there. But it's very important. How does the healthcare system work? If I'm going to stay here, how do I get a Swedish driver's license? If you're a non-EU citizen, you want to make sure you can also drive in this country. If you want to learn about the well-being, it is sometimes a darker country than some people are used to. How should you attack that? Candles, the coziness you can create. There are a lot of things, schools, international schools, Swedish schools. There are a lot of things to look at and a lot of things to understand. And you need to understand it in English if you don't have the language yet. How do I learn Swedish? What are the different ways of learning Swedish? It's not just going to school. We have fantastic language cafes. Again, coffee, cookies, it's part of the culture. And surprisingly, you don't gain weight here because you're always walking wherever you're biking.
That's such an American comment.
It is.
I love it.
Yes.
Walking or biking.
Yeah. Walking or biking. Yeah. Absolutely. You're very active here. So these are the kind of things. And then we created a job program because we realized the competence, the people, the spouses coming here, highly qualified, their education and work experience. We need that here in Sweden, but they are invisible. So our job is to make invisible talent visible to the Swedish job market. And so that's part of this Kickstart program that we've created many years ago. And we're quite proud of it because we can actually put about 57, when we did a measurement of 2 years, 57% of the internationals coming to us get into a job in their expertise in their fields. So it's not, driving a bus or maybe driving a taxi or working in a shop. It is in their expertise field. And we're talking about high-level competence. So we're very proud that we're able to help them. And that's just making them visible. They do the rest on their own. We just give them the tools.
Wow, that's actually more than I realized happens at International Citizen Hub as well.
Yeah. Yes. Very active place. And in a short time, we start basically towards the end of January, and we run to about mid-June. And then we start again mid-August to the beginning of December. So it's extremely intense. The pulse, the feeling, the energy, the atmosphere that's created there, it's ongoing. And then we kind of sit back and relax a bit. So we have summer. We enjoy the Swedish summers.
As everyone does.
Yes, as everyone does. So it's a great place, Sweden, and we're keeping the talent here because of that, because people are finding their place in Sweden. And these spouses and partners find, wow, I can also contribute to the Swedish job market. I can contribute. My children enjoy it here. My spouse and I have a life together. The one that was recruited, they work, they come home early. 4:30, I can leave the job and be with my family, where you come from other countries and you're working till maybe 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of lifestyle. When we talk about work-life balance, true work-life balance, you decide how you want to run your work and how you want to run your life. Big difference. Why do you think I stayed here? And I will still continue to stay here. But the most fascinating thing is that when we started, we have a clear target group in mind. But we noticed that we're here with Lund University, top 100 university in the world. And international students, they're fantastic the way I hear English. I hear things are going on. What's happening? And suddenly we notice people are coming to our events. We welcome everyone from the southern Sweden here, not just Lund, coming to the events, and we're meeting them and we're saying, we got to do something. This target group is amazing. Being educated at a top university, they want to stay. They enjoy the atmosphere. They want to contribute. Also with good education behind them from their home country, just as well as here. And we said, hey, we want to keep them. So this last year, we had the opportunity to open up and bring in internationals. But Megan, you came to us quite early too, before we started this.
Yeah, I think I just found you somewhere on LinkedIn or Facebook. There's some sort of event that called to me. I think I might have started with the Swedish versus Danish work culture presentation, which is a really good one. I think I've gone to 3 now, and it changes a little bit every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think international students were very conniving is not the right word, but we're very resourceful. And like you said, a lot of us do want to stay in Sweden after we graduate. And so we're always looking for those resources, the career services that some of our programs have, or Interkultur, which is something else that exists here in Lund. And International Citizens Hub, because I've gone to quite a few things, just had a really cozy vibe, a very welcoming vibe that kind of made you...
Cozy and welcoming.
Yeah. And structured, which is good in a very Swedish way, that makes you want to stay.
That makes you want to stay.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. You say in a very Swedish way.
Mm-hmm.
We run things pretty much on time. We try to, but we work with internationals. It doesn't always work, but we try.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing is it's kind of it's an open space to talk about those things. Mm-hmm. So Lisa's always very straight up with, hey, I know in some cultures it's okay to be 10 or 15 minutes late, but that's not how it works in Sweden, and that's not how it's going to work in your workplace. So here at International Citizens Hub Lund, we're going to practice being on time, as an example.
Yeah.
Or there are a few Swedes that work in International Citizens Hub Lund. We're always encouraged, of course, to learn Swedish or get going on Swedish, especially if you want to stay in the country and really integrate.
Yeah.
So you'll find internationals practicing Swedish with one another in International Citizens Hub Lund, which is amazing.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. And then as we had just had the privilege to start with the cross-border talent project here for the next 3 years, we were for the first time able to bring master students into the program. It was always targeted to spouses and partners of recruited talent. But we see, and I've been driving this question for the whole time because I meet these master students, I'm going, what are we doing? These people are exceptional. We need to keep them in the country. And we all agree, but it's a matter of how do we do it? And due to the project, we were able to start last term in fall 2024 to create this program so that they could also integrate with the spouses and partner in our Kickstart job program. And it's amazing. It's fantastic bringing these two groups together. Bigger groups, but the dynamic and the personalities and the will to get there and work together. We don't compete. That's really interesting because being American, as you're also American, we're used to competing, but we don't compete here. We help each other. So if you have a chance to get that job, same kind of field I'm in as well, I will promote and help you just as much as you will help me. So we collaborate together. And that's really the Swedish way. Team, working in teams. That's how we work in Sweden. You're a team, you work, and you drive everything together. And that's what's unique here. And so it's not competition in that way.
Nice.
And that's how things run in Sweden.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like the hub has evolved over time to include more international students. I wonder why this was an important or even natural step.
Well, I think when we saw that these students are visiting us and what they're contributing, also with their ideas, their energy, and this will to want to do something here and establish themselves there and be part of this society, it just seemed natural. Why do we educate people and then just send them off to somewhere else? Why? We have them here. Why do we include them? Because they have a will and they want to be here and they feel established, and they do. Many make an effort to try to learn the language. So we looked at this target group and we see them working here and how they integrate and work with each other. We thought we have to develop further. And what we also can see in the industries that we have here, Lund is a city of innovation. What you can do here from so many different perspectives, and if you can start your career or catapult your career from here, it can be a very interesting way to start your life. And also in Europe, we have Lund, we have Sweden, we have Europe, and that's enriching for many countries, whether they want to go back home, but we hope that they want to stay if they have something they want to contribute with. Yeah. So I think, you came here. What was your...
Yeah, as far as working goes, I know in the podcast we've talked how studying in Sweden is different, but job searching in Sweden is also completely different. I took a pause between my studies. So before my master's degree, I worked for a few years in Spain as well as in the United States. And searching for jobs in those countries are completely different. As you've mentioned, like in the United States, we really sell ourselves. In Sweden, it's all about network.
Yes.
And that is something that I have learned slowly, and that the International Citizens Hub really helps you with. You're building your network with people who are in similar boats as you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And people who kind of understand what you're going through, regardless if we are from another EU country, from outside of the EU, if we're a master's student that's about to graduate, or a spouse of somebody who's moved here for work. We all kind of understand that we don't have a network here because we're new.
Yes.
But that we can build one with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And that kind of ties back into the teamwork. And so, yeah, for me, it was really about kind of just going to those drop-in events, choosing the ones that, I was curious about. For example, I was pretty young when I moved here, I guess you could say. And
You're still young. You're still young.
Yeah. And I didn't have a very good idea of how unions worked, as an example, in Sweden. And that was a presentation that the International Citizens Hub gave. And I was able to learn, okay, this is how you join a union. This is the pros and cons. This is what it looks like in Sweden. Yeah. And there are processes that are completely different that if I had started the job search on my own, I wouldn't have known that I had to pay into unemployment on my own and figured that out. And then I would have been, in trouble if something happened to my job later down the road.
Exactly. I mean, it is surprising because this is a country where it's well known. You pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
But what you get for your tax money is incredible. The healthcare, the schools, free education. Just to learn Swedish, you can learn it for free. You don't pay for these things. Mm-hmm. But what is surprising, what people don't know, is you actually have to pay for, if you're unemployed, you have to pay to a fund.
Yeah.
Now, in many countries, it's already in your taxes. So it's the opposite. So you can imagine how many people go through and, oh, was I supposed to pay? Now I'm unemployed. Doesn't happen so often, but I'm unemployed. Now what do I do? There are a lot of things, small things to make that makes a difference in your life here. Yeah. But I mean, it's very interesting because it's these small elements you don't think about, like the union coming from the U.S. A union, they're very strong in Sweden, and I mean, they're very protective.
Yeah.
The labor laws in Sweden are protective, and that's part of the work-life balance to make sure that you have a balanced life here. And that's why they exist. So these kinds of things are unknown, and you come from your own country, from your own perspective, but you need to learn these things here.
And the nice thing about being an international student is, for example, like I mentioned, I'm in my final semester and I was able to join the Kickstart program, which we can talk a little bit about when I'm done with this thought. But you can go to the Citizens Hub for these drop-in events. For example, there's drop-ins on Thursdays where you can bring your CV and have a conversation and say, hey, I know I'm going to graduate in a year and a half. I need to find an internship. What do you think? What is your experience? And you can get that perspective from other internationals who've been through it already. So there's lots of opportunities. For example, LinkedIn is quite strong here. I was hoping it would die, but it's still here.
No, it's staying.
Yeah. So it's very important to have a strong LinkedIn account. And that's something that you can start early on and start showcasing what you're doing in your master's program, for example. So getting help with, hey, I just did this. Yeah, like this project. How can I put that on my LinkedIn? What sort of post? What keywords should I include? And people at the Citizens Hub can sit down and say, you know what, these are the buzzwords. You should really include a photo. Maybe not that photo.
No, maybe not that photo.
And they help you through it because in Sweden, it's really important to start early. As we mentioned, the Citizen Hub takes a break over summer, so does the rest of Swedish industry. So,
which is good if you're looking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So if you want to start job searching, it's really not something that you should leave right until you graduate. It's something that you should start early on.
Absolutely. You need to be proactive and early on, maybe even especially in the last year. So don't wait for your last term, but the last year to already start there. Interesting you said that. Come to the drop-in with your CV. That actually was a catalyst to another activity we have. We have the Kickstart Job Program, and that has to do with being eligible, and there's some criteria for that. But because my colleagues were getting asked all the time about CVs, and I have colleagues that are not in this area, felt uncomfortable trying to give advice. So we created another activity once a month on Thursdays, but in the afternoon. And that is a job search safari. And it's a strange name, job search safari, like we're hunting. Well, that's what it is.
We are hunting.
That's what it is.
It's a good metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. So we created this, and this is a mini Kickstart job program. It runs for 2.5 hours. And there it's, I talk about for about an hour, the mindset of searching for jobs here in Sweden, and then the job market, how you need to think, some factors there with the CVs. Yeah. So we go through those things, and then we have a workshop. And as I didn't mention, but I've worked as an English consultant for industries, various industry all through southern Sweden. So this pedagogic mindset doesn't go away naturally.
Yeah.
So when we were doing this, okay, we got to create a workshop. We got to do something. We have to create exercises. We have to work with it because it's not just to listen and absorb it. You need to work with it and understand it. So we do a mini workshop. And those are for everybody that's not able to, internationals, I have to say, not all of Sweden. They know how this works, but the internationals to come in and get some support, how to handle the job search there.
Yeah.
And that's what we've created out of that. All of you master students coming in and others coming in saying, please take a look at my CV. There's no one way is the best, but there's certain factors that make it easier. And it is what you brought up, that LinkedIn, so important to connect on LinkedIn, to follow, to be active, to be seen. Networking, I have to say, of anything in Sweden, which is surprising culturally, because Swedes are a bit insular. They're a bit to themselves. It's due to the weather, of course. They're indoors a lot in the wintertime. But they are, you would say, a bit shy. You ask a Swede, though, for help, they are there directly. Always ask for help. They are there to help you.
Definitely.
But when it comes to this in job search, and they network incredibly. It's a natural process. Networking just means, talking to people. Once again, the cup of coffee, the cookies, coffee, everything runs around coffee. And if you don't drink coffee, for everybody that doesn't drink coffee, tea's a little bit more. Just have some water, some juice, something easy. Tea you can have, of course. But the coffee culture here is incredible.
You always say yes to fika as a rule.
As a rule, even for the job search.
Megan.
Yeah.
We've heard about all these amazing resources. I'm really interested about your student story. How did you find the help?
Yeah, I do believe I've stalked it on LinkedIn maybe, or a Facebook group or something like that. They're very good. Their social media presence is very strong, so it's quite easy to see what they have to offer. And I think my first event was either, the talk like I mentioned about Danish versus Swedish work culture, or it might have been a job search safari. It's quite simple. You sign up. You can sign up for their newsletter online, which is something that you can do even before you come if you just want a little look into what it would look like if you were in Lund and participating in the program. And then after my first event, I was sort of hooked. I think one of the really cool things is if you come here, it's quite easy to fall in love with Lund. I very much hope to stay after I graduate this year, and I'd love to stay in Skåne or around the area. And
do you mind my asking you, what do you find fascinating about Lund? Tell us a little bit more about Lund, what you find.
It's such a fun combination of, it's a historical city. Sometimes I'm walking down the street and I'm like, oh my gosh, these cobblestones are older than my country.
I find that very interesting.
It's very historical, but it's mixed with this sort of liveliness and enthusiasm because you do have, it's very Swedish in that it's historical, but then you also have all of these international students and international citizens walking around, and it's just kind of a lively time, especially now as the sun is starting to come out more, and you'll find people like heads to the sky like turtles. But and on top of that, like you mentioned, it's got a very strong industry, and this program kind of helps you build those connections and get more entrenched in the community.
Right.
Like I have people in my network now who work at Access Communications and IKEA and Tetra Pak, which if you come to Lund, you'll find those are very big companies. And they're all places that I would love to work because I would love to stay in Skåne. So I think it kind of helps you, build your connections within the city as well. But build elsewhere. There's so much to Skåne. So if I wanted to stay in Lund, for example, I could commute to Malmö or commute to Helsingborg or commute to Älmhult if I really wanted a job at IKEA. And so I think the International Citizen Hub kind of helps you integrate a little bit more with Lund's community as well. And we also do things like they have afterworks, for example, which is a very Swedish concept where you hang out after work, after the Citizen Hub.
There you don't drink coffee.
There you don't drink coffee. Maybe have a drink or a light snack, and you just kind of get to know the people that you're with. And networking and socializing are such big parts of the work culture here. Like, you don't just go to work, say goodbye, and go home. Like, you really get to know the people. It's important. Personality is a really big part of the hiring process here, which is not something I would have assumed had I not planned it. So for me, I found the hub by chance, but it's really become like a second home. I'm there probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Absolutely. We love having we love having you there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's great. It's great to have that presence and people coming back. That's the thing, is we built a community there. And from we're going to celebrate our 10-year anniversary October 8th. 10 years.
Wow.
I hope we're having a party.
Oh, we're having a big party.
Good.
And but 10 years, it's gone by quickly, I have to say. But it's what's interesting there is that the community, we have people, we had one of our guest speakers yesterday, who's been with us from the beginning. coming back, wanting to give to the hub, contribute. Can I help others, reach the job market, or can I help others settle in and understand how things work? Or we have a new family coming, say, we've had from Italy, for example, a family coming, I'm not quite sure we want to move and make this move. And then we connected them with an Italian person who came to many of our events and said, I'll take care of them and let them know how it really works here.
Yeah.
We've had companies, one was hiring a Chinese HR person. She was a little bit unsure. She wanted to make this move and said, okay, we'll connect you from someone from the hub.
Yeah.
So you speak the same language, same culture, and you can really understand how it is.
Yeah.
Well, she made this move, must be about 7 years ago now, still here. Wow, what amazing. And those are some of the things that we do at the hub, connecting people. It's a community. But I think one of the things I find fascinating about Lund is, from an international perspective, is that, as I said, it's an innovation town. It's very small. You can walk, cycle everywhere.
Oh, it's so nice.
Isn't it? Well,
So nice.
Even in the winter, it works. It works here.
Yeah.
But it is that we have this research facilities. ESS is up and running soon. We have Max 4. We have Lund University here. We have an Idean Science Park with over 400 companies from startup to well-established. We have Medical Village. We have with life science at the forefront. I mean, everything here is in walking distance. And what's surprising, I think, as we are Americans, I can actually call a CEO and discuss things with a person. You would never in the U.S. get through to someone like that.
No.
But I can lift the phone and just say, I would like to. I don't have to go through all these secretaries or assistants. That person is on hands because I'm interested in hearing if there's something that we can do or collaborate or what we can do. Not just because we're International Citizen Hub, but because we want to talk to each other. So for companies to come here, for people to move here, expertise, talented people, and for even students to come here and study here, to have access to this is very unique, I think.
People are very approachable. You just have to learn how to approach them.
Exactly.
In the right context.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top tip.
Yeah.
And now we have really got the interest of all our prospective students who are listening to this episode. And I'm sure they're thinking, how can they get involved with the hub before they arrive?
Before they arrive?
Yes, before then.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty easy because we have some amazing people in communication. We have a fantastic website, I have to say. Very interactive in that way. A calendar, so you can see the upcoming events. Some are hybrid, so you can actually stay outside the country and register for those. Then we have a lot of interesting articles. We have stories of people that have gone here, so you can connect with them. They're very open when they put their story out there, how they moved here, their perspective, and you're able to connect with them. We have a LinkedIn, so professionally, if you want to connect with our LinkedIn, and that's an amazing tool. We have Facebook, so you see what's happening there. So there's a lot of ways, and especially the best way is to subscribe to our newsletter. We have a newsletter that comes out once a month, around the 20th of every month, except for July.
I can confirm.
You can confirm. Fantastic.
Yes.
Colorful, isn't it?
Yes.
Colorful. Colorful, full of tips also about culturally what's going on. You know, when it's time, we're going to have Easter. What do you do for Easter? What do you eat? What do you drink? Where to go? These kinds of also things that are going on, but about people, about activities, mindset, different kinds of things there. So it's quite interesting to get a perspective. And in this case, you get to know about a lot of things that are happening before you come, and then you can connect. We have a email address, lich, Lich, at lund.se, excuse me, and go on our website. You'll get it there. Exactly. I've been here a little too long. And but in any case, you can go there. You can write some questions if you have some questions. We have people answering those questions, and so we have a lot of ways to get in touch with us before. And if you're already here,
Yes, that was the next.
please come and visit us. Get on there. You know, everything we do, and I'm telling you, this is Sweden, is free. To the coffee you come in and drink in our facilities, free of charge.
Much appreciated as a student.
Absolutely. Yes. We noticed that.
How does it feel to walk into the International Citizen Hub as a student? Did you feel nervous beforehand? And once you get in, did you feel welcomed?
I mean, I'm a little bit of an extrovert, so not just a tad. So not too many nerves, but it's a very bright, open space. You know, it's very minimalist in a Swedish way. The chairs are comfortable. The information is there. There's pamphlets. There's books. There's coffee always. And so it was, like I said, it was really welcoming and cozy. There's never a time that I do feel nerves to go in there. It's kind of like it's fun to see who's there that day. Is it somebody that I've met? Is it somebody new? And a single conversation could be the difference between you finding a job and not, just because we have each other's backs. Like, we're always looking out. I know, for example, somebody in the program right now is a physicist, like a very well-educated physicist. And now when I'm looking at jobs on LinkedIn, I'm thinking of her, So it's welcoming and it's homey. So no nerves. And I promise, for anybody who does want to come visit, we don't bite. And you can see even the way that I'm talking about it, like, I don't have any sort of leadership position in the Citizen Hub, but it is a team, it's a community, and it's a family. So it's a we always.
It is a we. Yeah. Very Swedish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a we. Absolutely.
And if we haven't convinced our listeners so far, why should someone move to Lund to start their career here?
Why should they? I almost had to say, why shouldn't you? Yeah. As we described many of the different factors there, sometimes people think big is better, and I say small is better because it's more intimate. You really get to know people, things that are happening around you. You can make an impact as well. And I think sometimes when you're starting your career, that's what you need to go into something and dive in something really big. You could get lost. Yeah. And here is the start of something where you can actually make a real impact of where you want to go and who you want to meet. And it is not just the international itself, the Swedes as well. They're very, very welcoming in another way. You have to know the culture. But I think it's a place where I think it's a start for you. And to also have that comparison of what I'm looking for, depending on which country you come from. But I think they embrace all countries, all nationalities. You can be yourself in Sweden, but you can be yourself in Lund, especially.
Most definitely. You say. Yep. And it's quite easy to find somebody from your country. Another success story, a student who's graduated and stayed. And we've all been in the same boat. So we're happy to help each other. Right now, I'm reaching out to people on LinkedIn who, have gone through the Citizen Hub or have graduated from Lund University and made it and found a job. Reaching out, asking if they want to get fika, and meeting up just to say, what did you do and how did you do it? And if they hadn't been graduates from Lund, maybe they wouldn't have been as, receptive to that. But it is a community here in Lund, in the Citizen Hub as well. And so we all support each other. And I think that's great.
Fantastic. Lisa, Megan, thank you so much for today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
That brings us to the end of the first segment in part 1 of our special collaboration miniseries. As we continue our deep dive into how Lund University and Lund City collaborate to enhance the experience of international students, we're looking at how Cross-Border Talent Bridge is working to attract and retain international talent in the greater Öresund region. From matchmaking events in life science and tech to mentorship programs and kickstart job initiatives for students, we'll dive into the opportunities which help internationals build their careers right here in the region. Plus, we'll talk about exciting welcome events for internationals and how strategic campaigns are putting the region on the global map for talent attraction. Stay tuned for insights, tips, and everything you need to know about launching your career in Lund and the surrounding region. And with us, we have 3 guests, 3 experts on this topic. So welcome into the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll start here. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Christian Hallberg, and for the last 3 years, I've been working as business developer in the City of Lund.
Perfect. Nice to meet you, Christian.
Thank you.
So, hello, my name is Daniel Myrdamadian, and I am a student where we are currently helping out at the project CTB.
Welcome, Daniel.
And my name is Victoria Nielsen. I am also representing City of Lund, External Relations Unit, and I am project leader for Cross-Border Talent Bridge, that we call CTB also.
CTB?
CTB, Cross-Border Talent Bridge.
Okay,
yes.
Nice. Well, sounds like we have an expert panel to inform us about Cross-Border Talent Bridge. I'm not sure who to ask first, but what is Cross-Border Talent Bridge?
I think I will start.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, the project is international, interregional project that we received EU funds from Interreg program. It's called Öresund Kattegatt Skagerrak. And this is international project that we are running together between Swedish and Danish partners. And the main purpose with this project to make sure facilitate competence skills or skills in life science and tech in the greater Copenhagen region. So on both sides of the Öresund region, we experience that is labor shortage. And this is a kind of unified and a common initiative between Swedes and Danes to pull forces together and work with supply of skills.
Fantastic. Do you think there's anything else that either of you could add to that?
No, I think you're getting all right.
And I'm just thinking for our listeners out there, somewhere else in the world, they're hearing these words like Greater Copenhagen and Öresund region. What's the Öresund region, just for people who don't know?
In a way, it's the same thing. Öresund is the water between Sweden and Denmark. And on the one side is Sweden and Skåne, and Lund is situated in Skåne, and on the other side is Denmark and Sjælland, and there is Copenhagen.
Perfect.
So and together with Skåne, Halland, that is also part of southern Sweden, and Copenhagen and Sjælland, the island where Copenhagen is situated, together they constitute Greater Copenhagen region.
Fantastic. So that also includes Malmö,
Yes.
Lund.
We're talking about 85 municipalities.
Oh, wow.
On both sides.
Yeah, I can also say, just to add what Christian just highlighted, that it's the largest metropolitan actually area in the Nordics and a global hub for gross sustainable solution innovation. 4.4 million inhabitants, 17 universities, 2 countries, 4 regions, 85 municipalities. That's the region to come, right?
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got our international students saying, okay, I'm coming to Lund. It's a charming, not so large university town with about 100,000 people, but actually they're coming to a region with 4.4 million people.
Yes, and very, very closely you have the connection Fehmarn Belt, meaning it will take 3 hours from Malmö to get to Hamburg. So we are connecting to the northern part of Germany as well, shortly. So we are a very intense region with many different from very many different aspects.
Fantastic.
And I can say, because we're talking about international talents, and in this project, we are promoting Greater Copenhagen as one interesting, attractive career destination. So this is what we are, so to say, try to attract new talents within life science and tech specifically. I would like to highlight this because we think that these 2 branches, these 2 fields are very much driving growth in this region. That's why we are kind of focusing on these specific branches. Yeah.
Exciting. So there's a lot of opportunity in the region. you could say. Yes. Yeah. Who are the key partners in this project?
The project is proudly driven and led by City of Lund. So we are in charge of this project and we are very proud that we are taking lead in this initiative. And we have other key players in this consortium on the Swedish and the Danish part. On the Swedish part, we have a fantastic cluster organization called Medicom, a village innovation that are working with many life science companies, very famous here in Lund, and have very good cooperation also with City of Lund. And we have another cluster organization called Ideon Science Park that work with tech companies. It's also a kind of cluster organization, and also open tech with more focus on tech, digitalization, deep tech. Then, because it's cross-border project, right? We need Danish players in order to make it happen. So that's why we have a coordinating partner in Denmark called Copenhagen Capacity, which are extremely good and professional in talent attraction, retention, investment attraction. We have Medicon Valley Alliance. It's also life science cluster organization. And we have Copenhagen Municipality, 2 different units that are closely working with us. So this is a consortium. But even if we say that these partners represent Denmark and Sweden, but actually in our consortium, we have 10 plus nationalities working together, and we are 30 plus people.
All right. And I'm also curious to know, what skills does cross-border talent bridge provide to the region?
And this was the thing we just spoke about, the Greater Copenhagen region, and it's important to get the idea that we're talking about one region, meaning that you could live in one place and work in another place. And it's quite common that if you're a family, you could live in Malmö and you could work in Lund or you could work in Copenhagen. So when you are searching for a job or thinking about establishing yourself in this region, you don't necessarily need to think about just Lund. You could think about both the Swedish and Danish side, and the transportation possibilities on the western side of Skåne it's very convenient to travel between the different cities and so on. So think about the region as a whole, not only the city of Lund.
Exactly. So from Lund to Copenhagen by train, 40 minutes or so. Yes. And you could commute the other way as well. From Helsingborg, you could take a boat over, but I guess that's not as common if you...
Plus we have airports, right? Which is an important hub because we are talking about international. So it's very convenient and easier to fly in to this region.
The Kastrup airport is just half an hour away.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you have a train going every 20 minutes around the clock.
Exactly.
So it's easy to get in and get out.
Mm.
Yes, many of our new international students will arrive there and take the train to Lund. Well, they do at the start of every semester. And of course, this is all facilitated by the Andersson's Bridge as well, which I believe is going to be 20 years old shortly. There's going to be a half marathon across the bridge.
Yes.
I will run.
Oh, yeah.
15th of June. 15th of June it will have 25 years, exactly.
40,000 people will run from Denmark to Sweden.
Nice. I tried to sign up to that, but I got stuck with it.
It was very tricky.
You had some inside contact.
No, I just got patience. It took like 2 hours.
Oh, okay. I didn't wait for 2 hours. That would explain. I'm thinking about our listeners, and they are current or future international students at Lund University. How can these students at Lund University be involved?
I'm thinking that's cross-border talent bridge. All who are working in this, I would say, consortium partnership, we all strong believers in meetings between people, because we think when people meet, something magic happens, right? You start co-creating, co-developing, new ideas come, new opportunities arise. And that's why it's actually the whole project is built on many different events. And without going into details right now, we have matchmaking events, we have mentorship program, we have career days, welcome events. So all these kind of events, community building and meeting companies is the way how international students can actually very practically, concretely come across our project.
Fantastic.
Yes, and meeting one another is important from many different aspects. I mean, there's a practical aspect of getting a job, but it's a social aspect to get to know the companies, to learn to know one another, to get into kind of community. And Swedes, as you realize, maybe we are not the easiest guys to get to know. So this is a way to be a part of something in as a newcomer.
Okay, so if I put on my hat of previously being an international student, it really sounds like that there's a fantastic opportunity for networking, to get involved, and that is crucial. In Sweden, especially, I can't actually speak so much for the job market in Denmark, but I would imagine that it's quite similar, that interpersonal networking is very, very important.
Exactly.
If you want, of course, we can develop on different activities, but I don't know, it's later.
Well, we can get stuck into that now. Yes, I mean, and you're working a lot with talent attraction. So please tell us more about this.
Yes, it's we want international talents to come here and, of course, to stay.
So do we at Lund University. So,
but of course, you first have to come, right? And how we can attract. So there are, of course, absolutely different ways how you can actually get people on board. But how we are doing in the project, we are trying first to, of course, map and better understand what kind of needs we have in this region. And for this, I think Daniel will soon say a little bit more. Then we are also running different attraction campaigns. This is more a little bit, for instance, I just can give example. We already had one in autumn 2024 about life quality insurance. And practically the message was very simple. If you come here, if you relocate, if you find a job, and if you are not happy with your life in this region, we will pay your ticket back.
wow.
So there were a lot of interest. But now we are running another campaign. It will be more focused on tech and so on. But this is a little bit, of course, not only the idea, of course, to show that life quality and this life-work balance in Greater Copenhagen, on the Swedish and Danish side, it's a fantastic, a lot of different possibilities, and also how you can combine actually your professional career with a good quality life. So this campaign is about, and I think it's very important for international talents to hear that you come to a safe region, to secure region, to interesting with a lot of possibilities. So that's what we are trying to work also on this side. Plus, we are also behind the Greater Copenhagen Career Portal. And within the project, the idea is this portal is already in place.
Okay.
So it's nothing new. But idea with the project to upgrade it, get it more interesting, more tailored, more attractive for companies, to get more life science and tech companies to register to this portal and be available for international students. Just summarizing. But I would like to still come back to these competence needs that we are mapping so that Daniel can say something about this.
Yes, so during this project, I will be looking at the different competence needs within the tech and life science sector in this Greater Copenhagen area. And for this, we have looked at different kind of reports and articles published by many different branch organizations and companies and clusters that have already looked into this. But we will provide a summary from these reports and look into key factors that attract and retain the international talents. And I can give you a teaser of
Please.
But it will be published in its complete form at the end of spring 2025. So within tech, as many know already, any programming knowledge is highly valued, and there's a great need of any type of skills within IT and tech. And with the new AI front growing larger and larger for every day, we will need any that have complex skills in AI. And there's also different kinds of like cybersecurity and other areas that have been highly valued and are still valued. And life science, any type of knowledge in broader STEM areas is highly valued. But even if you look into like the specifics, it's like microbiology, biostatisticians, and other type of skills are highly valued. But there's also in people that had skills across fields, like in sales and together with life science, or in law for the compliance questions, are in greater need than ever because of the highly regulated market in EU.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it sounds like the competence mapping is well along the way.
Yeah, because I think it's very important for us to understand actually what's the situation, what kind of needs we have in this region, so that it's a good match, right? Mm. So that people don't come here in vain, but they are very kind of, there is supply or there is a demand for those specific skills, so that we can tailor also our attraction campaigns during the project cycle during 3 years that we have.
And is there anything else that we would like to mention about talent attraction?
In this report, we'll also looking at key factors for talent attraction and retention. So we'll be looking into why people are coming to this region and studying and understanding it to inform the policymakers, companies, and even the students about this region. So we're looking into how this region is built up and understand its more greater detail, like the quality of life is very important for most people of coming here, with the availability for good health care and work and life balance and the other different factors that's highly regarded.
They always hard and soft values, right?
Yeah.
And all of them make sense and play a role. That's why we're looking a bit on both type of what can be interesting and important to understand for us also.
And the interesting thing here is that the study is actually talking about 2 different countries.
Yes.
One region. So are there any differences, or are we the same?
Let's
find out.
Yeah, well, the strength of the Swedish krona and the Danish krona definitely changes over time, we could say.
Not everything is about money.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, though, especially the work-life balance that you mentioned, I think it's a surprise to some international students, at least, that come here, where they come from countries where you work longer hours, you could say.
Yeah, but it's actually as regards this kind of talent attraction portfolio, we have, I think, highlighted if you've not been here in this region. So it's actually to also to check on our websites and also keep track on what's published on LinkedIn and also sign up for those campaigns in order to better understand and get knowledge about this region. Because it's not only you come to studies, but it's important that all other things are working, that you have, roof over your head, that you have your social network. So this is how we are trying to tackle this challenge kind of from different perspectives. Yeah, that's about attraction.
And Lund is fantastic. You have the countryside just around the corner. You can't only think about the center of Lund. You have this beautiful municipality with Dalby and Södra Sandby and Veberöd and Genarp and so on. So please be free to take the bus to the countryside.
I was hiking in between Genarp and Veberöd this weekend. Very nice, I can confirm. And the beach and the seaside and the ocean is right there as well.
Yes.
Yes. Let's also talk about another aspect of cross-border talent bridge, which is talent retention. What do we need to know about that?
Yes, of course, the ones who are coming here, I mean, international talents, it's not only we want them to come here and study, but we want them to stay here because they invested also into time and money-wise to relocate. Sometimes you are not coming here alone. You come with a partner, you come with a spouse, and so on. And of course, it's important that everyone feel welcome, right? So not only you as a newly maybe employed, but also your partner and your spouse also feel comfortable. But we have also different type of activities, events under this portfolio called talent retention. And I can name maybe a few of them. So we have matchmaking events. It's very concrete events that we organize 4 of these events, 2 in Lund and 2 in Copenhagen. But of course, as international student, you're also welcome to take part in all these events. But you will be a kind of pre-screened and matched to companies that will join these events. And we think it's not only about meeting companies and better understanding what's the situation as a labor market in this region, but it's also, as Christian already mentioned, very much building, being a part of this community, socializing, building network, mingling with people that you are practically establishing yourself in this region. So matchmaking events are very thematic. We have 2 events per year in life science and 2 events in tech. And we are looking at international master students who have just graduated or in the final semester of their studies, PhDs and postdocs. And as I mentioned already in the beginning, it's not only them, but they are accompanying if they are spouses or partners that are also coming together with them. That's to mention, for instance. Then I guess you will hear, or you maybe heard already about Kickstart job program.
Please tell us more. We want to hear all about it. It was mentioned.
But this is a little bit, this program is organized by International Citizen Hub, Lund, in Lund. And this is for master students, where Lund University, of course, the most important player. And also spouses, so master students and spouses to the ones who are recruited in Lund. And this is a job program happens twice a year, in autumn, in spring. And it's not like you have already a lot of information on the International Citizen Hub Lund's page, but still there are a lot of different info meetings where you can build knowledge about this program. But this is about what it means to come to this region, cultural differences, how to write CV, how to dress up for interview, how to find accommodation. So all these kind of things. Maybe you have something about taxes or whatever. So all of these practical tips and hints, and also come in touch with local residents and different companies that we have here in Lund. That's the way to join this Kickstart job program. But as I said, I will not go into depth because you potentially have heard about this already.
It sounds like a fantastic resource for international students wanting to come into the labor market. I mean, it sounds perfect, basically.
And as you said before, it's a way to get to know your fellow.
Yeah.
Sounds like something that's going to get more and more popular, I would say.
Yeah, and then actually very much connected to this also, we have quite many welcome events within this project, and they are mostly run in Copenhagen or by the Danish partner, but it's not exclusive to the ones who are coming to Denmark. So very much, as I said, we are working together this, and we're welcoming all internationals coming to this region. And these welcome events is practically, as I already mentioned, you come here, you need better understand how I can get accommodation, any practical things that you have with different local authorities, because you are going to have these issues. What it means to have e-signature in this region. All these kind of practical things, because in this region you are using it so much digitalized, you need to understand that it's a kind of other conditions, and so that you're well placed, well contextualized, and these welcome events give you a little bit more knowledge, so to feel more comfortable and more secure when you are coming here. And just to mention that once a year, International Citizen Days are run in Copenhagen.
Okay.
And in 2025, next one will happen on 19th and 20th September, and thousands of people joining this event. It's inspirational talks, speed dating with companies. It's a lot of this kind of community building activities. So absolutely join this event in order to understand what it all means to be part of the social expatriate community.
Absolutely. And the 19th and the 20th of September 2025, that's a month after our new international students arrive here in Lund.
That's perfect.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can all go along to that.
Exactly. Yeah. Take a train ride to Copenhagen and join these events. And the idea is also with this project that a similar event will be organized in Lund. A bit later, 2026, 2027, a little bit in a smaller format, not thousands, but smaller. But still, we are kind of learning and getting inspired by Danes, about this concept.
That is a lot of events, both covering attraction and retention. Hope you guys are getting to have a little break and have a little fika as well while you're organizing all these events.
We have very professional individuals and organizations on board for in this project, so we feel very secure. And I would say, even if it takes a lot of time and energy, of course, to organize all these events.
Yes, and Daniel, I'm thinking about the student perspective as well. As a student, how do you feel mapping these competencies and being involved, seeing all these events?
So I didn't have much knowledge about this kind of questions before because I'm an engineer student.
Okay.
But I had some insight into the tech parts. So getting to know more about this question is quite interesting, and learning about all the works being done. Because I'm myself a second generation immigrant, and so I have some family and friends that have moved here to Sweden recently and gone through this whole experience. And learning to see what's being done and how they're working on it is really interesting.
Happy to hear it. Is there anything else you would like to discuss?
So with recently being the International Women's Day, it's quite of interest that this region in Greater Copenhagen especially is known for having many women in higher positions. And the work-life balance and the equal, the difference between pays between gender is one of the best in the world, with Denmark especially being ranked number 1 and Sweden coming close. So it's quite a good region for the diversity and for women of people different regions.
And maybe from my perspective, I would like just to add everything what we have mentioned today. As you see, the whole project and this cross-border initiative is based on meetings and different events. And of course, we have a long list of them, both for 2025 and coming years. So in order to stay tuned, stay connected, and better understand what we're actually doing, I would recommend to also check our website, which is very simple. Google Cross-Border Talent Bridge, or follow up on LinkedIn. Send me or connect us also.
That's great. Thank you all so much for coming in today and sharing all the knowledge about Cross-Border Talent Bridge.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for tuning in to part 1 of our special collaboration with the City of Lund. We would also like to sincerely thank all guests who have took the time out of their busy schedules to join us in the studio for these discussions. Today, we've explored how both International Citizen Hub Lund and Cross-Border Talent Bridge are making a real impact. But we're not done yet. In part 2, we'll continue our journey with 2 new segments. First, we'll dive into EU Days Lund, an exciting annual event that brings European perspectives and opportunities to Lund. Then, we'll speak with staff from the City of Lund about the many ways they welcome and support international students studying at Lund University. You won't want to miss it. If you're interested in learning more about Lund University, you can go to our website, lunduniversity.lu.se. You can also follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X, and you can connect with our amazing student ambassadors on Unibuddy. Don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you a new episode very soon.